You were tuned in to episode 95 of the Goodfellas podcast. G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. Got my main man with me, Boxing First Vlog, aka the General, aka Blunt, aka Blunt Bayless, aka Mr. 1K. What is going on, good brother?
Oh man, we in the building, ready to shoot this boxing 1-2 with the family.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, of course, yesterday we thought we was gonna have a part two of what was going on yesterday. But as boxing always does, they give us something different to talk about. Uh, before we get into that, though, um, condolences, thoughts, prayers go out to the Gary Russell family. Um, their father passed away, and before we get started, we classy, all the time. So definitely thoughts and prayers, condolences to the Gary Russell family. Just losing a loved one is just, I mean, it just hits, it hits different. You know what I'm saying? And it goes to show that no matter how anybody feels about a boxer or anything like that, when things like this happen, usually, the boxing community come together, as a whole. So, um, just want to send them, them prayers and everything to that family. Felt like it's only right, to do that before we even get started, man. But he's a just a. I didn't know him personally, but when you have sons that are successful in this world, it's and the father is there. It's a representation of the father, and we don't have that enough. You know what I'm saying? In our society, where we got literally, and it only had to be a biological. It can just be you are a father figure to somebody, and the fact that those are his kids, and he's done a lot. Just within his space, man. Like he's to be
I
saluted
just
and all that.
Let me add this. I wouldn't per se say we don't have it enough. I think it just doesn't get appreciated at the
Agreed.
level it may be at. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
It kind of gets
Agreed.
overlooked, and it's just like, well, you're supposed to. Okay, so if you do it and you do a great job at it, shouldn't you get the acknowledgement? So we know Gary Russell is a guy that can be loved and hated in the boxing streets in the boxing world, but that's just a persona. You know what I mean? That's just like a boxing character. You have those across the board. You like them, you dislike them. Doesn't
Right.
really That doesn't say his father didn't do a good job raising him, helping put him in a position where he can feed his family, and that can go down the line towards their family lineage. So big shout out to Pops, R.I.P. to him, and I think they're gonna come through. They seem like a good group of solid dudes. You know what I mean? And they got
Hmm.
big stages and big shoes to continue to fill. And best of luck to them and everything like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before we get started, y'all know the drill, man. Put a one in the comment section if you can hear me. Put a one in the comment section if you can hear vlog, and we're gonna get up and started. We're gonna get up and started. Big shout out to VP Shane. He should be in here um any moment. Um, you know what? I'm gonna assume that y'all can hear us okay, because it's 8 people in here so far. So I'm gonna assume y'all can hear us just fine. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, September 17th. It's going down. Big shout out to Adrian. He said, "What's up, fellas?" Put that one up there. Big shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you. Canelo Alvarez, Triple G, September 17th. And I don't think anybody is surprised that this fight is happening. Just I guess, what was your first thoughts when you heard it was like official?
I mean, I think we knew it was going to be official based on what they already put out there before the Bivol fight. They put the rundown of what was expectations was going to be, but the Bivol rematch is recently added to that third scenario. You know what I mean? But in my estimation, I think it's still. I wouldn't say it's a duck, but I still question it because again, it's a middleweight you talking about. I get the trilogy, I get all of that, but that was both when they were both playing in the same ballpark. This guy's moved on and moved on, meaning he went from 68 to 75. Now he going back to 68 to challenge a guy that's a 160 unified champion who should at this point in his career be possibly looking at unification, complete unification to undisputed. So this thing, it's a money grab, bro. That's all it is to me, and I'm not really interested in it, bro, because it doesn't do anything to solidify landscapes in boxing. It doesn't say, okay, well, yeah, this is a true middleweight champ. This a true 168 champ. You know what I mean? Making a true defense of that 168 crown he earned. I guess you could say he earned it. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, it's boxing. I might watch it, but I mean, I ain't paying for it. So somebody send me a link, I'll watch it, but I ain't paying for that.
Right. Adrian, he said, but this fight is for undisputed. Yeah, Canelo will have his belts on the line.
Yeah, but Adrian, it's undisputed against a guy that's the 160 unified champ. That's not some historical jump where, okay, like let's just say, let's take hypothetically Haney gets the lightweight titles, and then we get him and Shakur. That's more interesting. You know what I mean? This is not interesting because it's been visited already. So it's not like this new crown unified middleweight champion going up, taking a shot at undisputed at super middleweight. It's not. It's just it's rehab. It's like you made French fries and then you tried to refry them. Come on, bro.
Yeah. It's. I really wanted to wait for Shane to get in here because I really wanted to get his opinion on it, but we'll work it out. I off top. This is the original date of the fight. Like this was the original plan. Whether he won or lost against Bivol, this was going to be the fight, September 17th. The venue was already locked in. The opponent was already locked in. You know, so to me, like this is really not a huge surprise at all. I look at it, bro, and I'm not disputing anything you're saying at all. For me, um, I feel like Triple G and Canelo are fulfilling an obligation for the zone. When Canelo got the contract initially with Golden Boy, they had Triple G in mind. When he got out of the contract and doubled back down with Eddie Hearn and came back into the situation, they had Triple G in mind. Triple G got a contract with the zone only because Canelo was in the mix. They had no other interest in Triple G. That's why they didn't expose him to Android or anybody else that would have posed a major threat to Triple G. So this is a fight I think they're fulfilling for the network, and I feel like the network and only the network is requesting this fight. I haven't heard a fan that's interested in this fight. I haven't heard a fan that actually wants this fight, or I haven't heard a fan that's necessarily excited about this fight. And it's just it is what it is because it's just like the first fight was a solid fight. The second fight was a solid fight. They were both competitive fights. So it wasn't like the two fights were trash. It's just we just don't want to see it. We just don't want to see it again. And that's just where I'm at with it, and that's where a lot of people at with it. But the comments is flooding in. I'm getting these comments. Jamie Leroy in the building. Big shout out to you, family. He said, I just think there's unfinished business with Triple G and Canelo. Third fight was always gonna be made. I agree that I agree that the third fight was always gonna be made. I just think the reason for it is because the zone wants it. The zone always wanted it. You know what I'm saying? Like they always wanted it. Go ahead, bro.
This fight should, if it was wanted and desired so badly, why wasn't it made before now? Like y'all allowed this man to go on that European tour, which didn't include Triple G on that side of the planet. When they fought out in the Western Hemisphere. So again, if you was gonna put the man on a European tour, why not include Triple G back then at this weight before he went on the unification at middleweight, which was probably the only route that they could have used and made some money, which I think it did well. It was a good fight to me. Japan is a, growing boxing scene over there with the Ione situation going on, or Inui, or however you would like to pronounce his last name. I'd have to hear him pronounce it to say it correctly myself. But anyway, uh, again, man, I can't knock it any more than I have no real feeling for it. Like, it's, you know what I mean? You got Benavidez out there. You got Morel out there. You still had the opportunity of a fresh face with Charlo. Again, a fresh face. Let's not even get into the black fighter thing. Let's just say a fresh face. Come on now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
like
why
that.
was
I
there no
like that angle.
Charlo Triple G talk? You know what I mean?
I
Come on.
I like what you said, and I like that angle in regards to Charlo. Like, forget the fact that a black fighter, forget the fact that he's 160 is a fresh face, and I agree with that 100%. So I'm like, if I'm gonna watch Canelo fight a 160 pounder, I'd rather it be a fresh face. So I think that was well said. I agree with that 100% for sure. Burt Wood in the building. Big shout out to Burt Wood. He said G5 flashback. Did y'all know Mike Tyson was a fill-in if they needed him on a boxing team Summer Olympics 1984? Americans dominated, winning 9 gold medals. To be honest with you, off the top of my head, I don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew that. But that's good info for sure. Big shout out to Bird Wood for always bringing that info. Tony's Reviews in the building. Big shout out to Tony's Reviews. He said it's a duck. Triple G could be the third fight. Uh, Said Canelo had no interest in rewatching Bivol after the fight. Bivol beat the English language out of Canelo. Yeah, I just, bro, I like Tony's Reviews. Here's my thing on it, bro. Canelo's in a position. I haven't seen a cash cow in this bad of a spot in a long time. Like, he's really in a bad spot. So I look at it this way for Canelo. Either way, he was going to catch it. So it's kind of like, what set of problems do you want? If he takes the Bivol fight, the Bivol rematch immediately, he's stupid. They're going to say he's dumb for taking it again because you're not going to beat Bivol. He takes the Triple G fight, it's a duck. So it's kind of like, what set of problems do you want? What you think, look?
I mean, I don't think you could take the Bivol fight if there's still questions about this man not getting paid from the first fight. So why are people acting like that's just such a guarantee to happen? Nobody asked Bivol if. Well, I haven't heard Bivol say yes. I'm open to that being my next fight. You see what I'm saying? So they just acting like whatever he wants to do, he can do. You can't do that with a guy you already lost to, and there's still questions about him being paid fully. So you pull, like you said, he's in a bad spot. He's a cash cow to a certain extent. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he's only a cash cow if he's fighting the John Ryders and the Callum Smiths. That's the only route that he can go, I think, to sustain whatever excellence people feel like he still has. Because to me, in this fight, Triple G still gonna push him.
Agreed.
Because if I just have to go off the Triple G that I last saw, and that's what we do, we analyze the sport inside the ring, forget all how we feel about the setup of the fight, the pay, and all of this other things. The sport inside the ring tells me that Triple G can push him. Because I have not seen an excellent Canelo in minimum 2 fights. Let's just go 2 fights.
Correct.
Minimum.
Correct.
So I don't know what you guys are saying that says this will still be a easy win.
This is going to be a highly competitive fight.
I put the numbers up on my Instagram, man. So y'all want to go check them early odds numbers out. That's out on these guys. Obviously, they got Triple G underdog, weight difference. You see what I'm saying? So natural underdog right there. Again, still, you know what I mean? Interesting numbers. Not too far apart. It's not a Charlo Silicki numbers. All of that on the same post. So check me out, man. Give me a like. Boxing number 1 STBLOG.
Absolutely. Jamie Leroy Tank leaving Mayweather after the Rolly fight. I think that's a good move for Tank. Um, to be honest with you, bro, they've been kind of
Yeah, that was
going
all.
back and forth for a while. So I would say if Floyd is a better fighter than he is a promoter. And when you got somebody like Tank, you know, um, you hear Floyd all the time, and I don't want to touch on this too much, but Floyd all the time says like, Tank is a pay per view fighter. He considers him like a cash cow, a top guy in the sport. But then he'll say on the back end that fighters don't handle their business correctly. You know what I'm saying? Their actual business correctly. And I'm like, Floyd, to be honest, he hasn't put one fighter in position to make Floyd type moves since he's been a promoter. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Like he criticized Bob Arum for the type of deal that he had, and he got out of that deal. He wasn't able to flourish until he got with Al. You would think that him going through that he would put his own fighters in better positions from a financial standpoint, not financial, but just a business structure. You know what I'm saying? He would give them a better opportunity to succeed. But his contracts is no different than Bob Arum's. His joints is no different than Bob Arum. So the fact that he even let Tank get to this point to where he can walk, like it kind of says a lot. But I mean, I hope Tank just goes somewhere where he gets the top guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he's ready for all them dudes, and I think he'll be highly competitive against all them dudes. So uh, Floyd wasn't gonna put him in with none of them dudes, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have no problem with him leaving. He should just be honest with you. He should just be independent. He should just be independent. Just call his own fights, call his own shots. You know what I mean? What you think, Flo?
Obviously, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I think it's just gonna be a young trend that's going on, especially with the young stars. Eventually, with a guy like Garcia who can obviously outgrow De La Hoya and that scene going on with over there, especially what he's doing on his own financial moves that he's making. Uh, it's a Devin Haney effect. That's where I believe that these young fighters are really gonna start betting on themselves. Like they've already, to a certain extent, proven to themselves that their skills can quote unquote pay the bills. So if you look at the situation Devin Haney's in, this is a dude that literally said, "I'm betting on myself. I'm going to take the first fight in your backyard, no matter what the money is. Oh, y'all coming late minute with some last chicanery? Oh, I'll take the second fight in your backyard, no matter what the money is." So basically, he's saying I play the B side until I'm able to play the A side. So that's betting on yourself. And I wouldn't say that Mayweather didn't do it with Tank. I don't think he did it consistently enough to where the big fight was definitely coming across the street to your spot.
Agreed. Agreed.
Like you,
Agreed.
you did good moves, you put them in decent positions, but you didn't do it enough to where as though you bet on them. Like, yo, I'm rolling the dice with my guy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And to
yeah,
me,
I agree with that.
he's a he's a Frank Warren type of guy. I think Floyd he looks for other people's money when it comes to this promotion thing. He's not, to me, spending his own money. He may do it with the gym and things like that. May throw these guys a couple holdover dollars and things like that. But I don't think he's a guy that's saying, "Yo, here's $1 million. I'm gonna buy the venue. I'm gonna pay the commission fees." I don't think he's doing that. I think he's an investor sort of promoter,
Yeah,
and that's something that I think holds him back. You got to
yeah,
spend your own money. You got to spend money to make money. Don't necessarily have to spend somebody else's money all the time, because that's uh, not a slow way to get it, but I don't know. It's just a
yeah.
different way to get it for me.
Yeah, I just think I don't think Floyd ever looked at a new way of moving Tank along. He just wanted to basically just emulate the moves that he made, you know what I'm saying, for himself and just apply it to Tank. But Tank is a different fighter, different animal, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta cater the marketing plan and things like that to him. Like you can't just say, well, take my blueprint and run with it. You know what I'm saying? That the
But
Mayweather blueprint don't fit for everybody.
At Floyd's time, there weren't quote unquote other kings like that. You see what I mean? So he almost manufactured a lot of his fights.
Right.
Whereas though here's the opposition, he come up with these nicknames and run the nicknames like the Ghost and those sort of fights where you kind of it was a built up sort of thing, almost on some WWE type of shit. Because at a certain point, he really stopped seeing the best competition that could have been out there, but he was seeing the smart competition, business wise, fighting a lot of the Latin guys. So you know how that goes in boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep it moving off that. Tony's reviews said Canelo. Yeah, we knew what you meant, bro. We definitely knew what you meant, man. We hate the spell check as well. Um, Andre Southgate, it's a shame the fight waited that long to be made. Trilogies need to be ran back sooner rather than later. I agree
Agreed.
with
That's all
that.
I'm saying.
That's a fact.
Awesome.
Um, uh, okay, so that's the same comment Tony reviews had before.
Let me get this water.
All right, cool, bro. Tony's reviews is still wrote rewatch instead of rematch. Yeah, yeah, you gotta get that spell check fixed, baby. Big shout out to YSM Sports Media. He said, anybody who thinks Canelo and Triple G have unfinished business is a diehard Canelo fan that doesn't want him put in a situation where he can lose again. Well, YSM, that's the thing. He could lose this fight too. Like he could lose this fight too. Like this
I
ain't no
mean, I don't. I would.
this ain't no layup.
You got to give him a size advantage, and that's it. I would think that would be it.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
I mean, Triple G subject to getting hit because Murata got to him, and Murata was playing shell game most of that fight. So if he got home a little bit, but I mean, I don't know, man.
This ain't no easy. This ain't no cake.
Yeah, I don't think it's easy, but I still lean Canelo just based on the size and the age of Triple G. This dude about to be 41 years old, bro.
Yeah, I think just I was talking to Shane about that earlier. It's crazy because I'm like under any other circumstance I'll be like Canelo's a clear like it should be a clear cut favorite. Triple G's 40. Um, he's this will be his first fight at 168 pounds, and y'all know how I feel about going up in weight. You're fighting the absolute best guy at that weight. It's a tall task. Um, for those reasons alone, you would think Canelo would be a clear cut favorite. But when you actually look at Canelo, you could make the argument he only won 2 rounds against Bivol. Like he took an embarrassing loss against Bivol. Before that, he was on the European tour. The last time Canelo actually looked good throughout a fight was the Danny Jacobs fight, and that was years ago. So he's been slowly on the decline. He's been slowly
I've
on the
been
decline.
saying this.
So I can't say that Triple G's a layup, despite him being 40, despite him being up in weight. It's not a layup. It's definitely not a layup. It's not a layup.
This dude has not looked crisp, has not looked pound for poundish in a lot of fights. I don't even 2, 3. It's been a lot.
I gotta rate my pound for pound. He may not even be in my top 5.
He ain't on my top. He might not be in the top 10 once I'm finished with mine. I might do that today after the live. Put this shit up on the gram. I see everybody else is out there.
I think he in the back half of my top 10. To be honest, he's in my top 10, but
he's not in mine's off top of my head.
So off that's top of my head, bro. And the thing is, and I'm like, people hear us say this and they think we like Canelo haters and all this and all that, and that's not true.
All right, answer me a question. Answer me this. At 175, that his goal was Bivol. That's a champion. There are other champions. Let's take a step down at 175. Does he beat Craig Richards?
He'll beat Craig Richards.
You think he can get around that length?
I will put my check on it. He beats Craig Richards. He beats Craig Richards. I don't know. Give me another name. Give me another name.
Buatsi, the guy Craig Richards just fought.
That's a tough fight for Canelo. I don't know. The Canelo that showed up against Bivol doesn't beat Buatsi.
I think the Canelo that showed up against Plant don't beat Buatsi. I think the
Yeah,
Canelo that showed up against Plant don't beat Craig Richards, because
I
Craig
don't
Richards
think.
used his length and
See,
would
the thing
not
with
move as much.
the reason why I don't like Craig Richards in that fight is offensively he doesn't have the ability to follow up with anything. He can make something initially happen offensively, but he don't have the feet to actually follow up, which is going to play right into Canelo's hands. So that's why I like that matchup for Canelo. But other than Craig Richards, I don't see him beating Boatsy at 75. I don't see him beating. To be honest with you, I think him and Joe Smith is a 50-50
Yard,
fight. But
yard.
Beterbiev kills him at 175. I'm telling you,
Oh
Canelo
yeah,
looked
yeah.
like a three
Okay.
piece. He looked like a three-piece meal with the fries at 175, man. He looked like a
Man, what you
three-piece
said?
meal.
2 piece in the biscuit.
Man, the
He
three-piece
looked like a
meal with the
2 piece in
fries
the
and
biscuit.
bro, with the hard ass, the Popeyes biscuit too. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
homie, yeah.
Yeah,
He
it's
food.
crazy.
He food at
He's food.
168 right now.
He's food
That's
at
why they
175.
that's why they fishing in other ponds trying to, you know what I'm saying,
He's food at
look for old bait.
175.
They
Yeah, he's
using
food.
old bait to come, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
This fight, it's not a joke,
we
but
just
it's just come
realistic.
on, bro.
Yeah, we just realistic. Like it's just
It's not a
he's
joke,
not a
but
good fit at 175. But we said that. We said that in the Kovalev fight. I had that fight tied going into that round. Kovalev got knocked out. And that was an old Kovalev. So we've been saying this. We not this ain't no bandwagon thing
but
with,
it's
you know
the
what I'm
shit. It
saying?
was, if you look back at that fight, you had to look at the whole scenario of the fight. You talking about an older fighter. You talking
Right.
about a fighter that had a lot of out of the ring issues. Then the
Mm-hmm.
layoff during that night when they were competing with another combat sports entity, with trying to gauge and set the timing where both main events weren't happening at the same time, and Dezan allowed themselves to be put on the back burner. That's clown. They went out for that one. I clowned them back then about that. You should have
Yeah.
ran shit.
Yeah, but why is some I agree with that statement. I definitely agree with that statement. Tony's reviews. Bivol has expressed no interest in Canelo. He wasn't even excited about beating him. He literally said Canelo was a little guy. LOL. Let me speak on that really, really quick. Um, the thing that's crazy, when you beat the cash cow, you should be on top of the world. Bivol has beat Canelo, and you can still argue he's a nobody. Nobody people still aren't talking about Bivol. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they still not talking about Bill. So it's one of them things where to us the hardcores we knew like Bivol was clearly the better fighter. It was just was the judges going to give him the decision. So he might be thinking of it the same way we thinking about it. Like, well, shit, I knew I was going to go in there and do that. Like, I don't see what the big deal is. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I mean, it is what it is, though. YSM Sports Media. I've never seen Triple G at 168 to believe that this would be a competitive fight. Murata is not Canelo, nor does he mirror him stylistically. Canelo landslide. So since Shane not in here yet, I'm gonna put the cat out the bag. Shane told me off camera he think Canelo was stopping Triple G. I told him he on crack. Um, you know what I'm saying? It's just, bro, if Canelo's last fight where he looked, good was Danny Jacobs, I'm not confident in saying Canelo landslides anybody. I'm not comfortable with him land. There's not too many people that's upper echelon where I feel like Canelo just mops him the way Canelo's looked in his last like 3-4 fights. I don't feel comfortable saying that. Now I'm not saying that it's not gonna happen. It could very well happen, but I'm not confident in saying it right now. He gonna have to show me. He gonna have to show
That's
me.
a fair question.
Yes, sir.
If Triple G loses that fight, he don't lose his middleweight titles. If he
No.
accepts that fight, does he have to drop the belts?
No.
So he loses, he's still the middleweight champion.
Correct.
Then there's already written Canelo gonna win.
Right. I'm just not comfortable. I'm not comfortable.
I'm
He gonna have
just
to show
saying
me.
it's
No, I
already
feel you.
written.
But the thing is, we thought the Bivol joint was already written too because he had the contract in place.
But
So
this is where see I'm meaning from I'm looking at it from a where you want to waste your money or not waste your money sort of betting sort of thing, because
so you
that's
talking
where
on a bet? You talking on a bet
yeah,
perspective?
from a
Okay.
betting perspective, it's
Yeah.
almost like
Well,
I
you
parlay
gotta.
fights like hold on, I parlay fights. This would not be a fight I'd parlay. If I was to bet this fight, I'm single betting it, and I'm just betting
Well,
it based on what style I think gonna beat the other style. I can't
yeah,
do
I wouldn't touch.
you
I
know the
wouldn't touch it.
genders. You can't do all that because you gotta basically say they both walk off as champions. It's a win-win. It's a draw sort of situation because a lot of people look at one of them fights could have been a straight draw. A lot of people can give either or to one fight. Same scenario. It could be just like a draw sort of trilogy. It won't be no conclusion.
Right. Yeah. As a better, I wouldn't unless Triple G's odds go up, like the number go up. I might put
He
some
had
bear money on him. Now I
hold on.
looked at your. I got your post up.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he had four.
he's at plus 290. Plus
Who was that
290.
for something?
That was Canelo minus 410.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm
Yeah.
not comfortable putting up $410 and win $100 on Canelo in that fight. I wouldn't be comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I
I
would.
wouldn't. I wouldn't be comfortable doing that under any circumstances.
I
But
wouldn't let that fight fuck up a parlay. I know that.
yeah, hell no. YSM. We talk about Tank like he left Al. He hasn't. He just doesn't have a promoter and is going forward promoting himself. He was a Heyman fighter before Floyd, and he will be a Heyman fighter after. So here's the thing, like that. First of all, that's true for the people that don't know. Like that's an absolute fact. So here's the thing with that. With that being the case, he still is under the same scenario. Is Al gonna let him go across the street? It's still the same scenario. It's no different than him being with Floyd. You still had the same question. Now, has Al, sent guys across the street before? Yes, he has, but not of Tank level, not of Tank's stardom. He hasn't sent a guy like that across the street. So even though
That
he would
doesn't
still
make
be with
any
Al,
sense. That
what doesn't
doesn't
make any
make
sense?
that. So what's the big deal about him leaving Floyd if
But
he's
that's
not?
my point. That's my
No,
point.
no. Yeah, I get you. Again, I'm just adding my 2 cents to it. It doesn't make any sense that you leave Floyd and that's the big topic when you're still stuck on the same fucking platform.
Yeah, yeah,
Fucking
I agree.
difference do it make if
Agree.
Floyd is attached to you or not? Actually, Floyd being attached to you helped to sell you because the people that hated Floyd bought the fight probably to vote against you. So you gotta look at Floyd as still being a positive to the promotional situation. But as far as making mega fights, if you still attached to that platform, that's
It's the
still an
same.
anchor, baby. That's
Still the
still an
same
anchor.
question, right? Still the same question. And just to add on to that real quick, um, you have to ask that question with Al because they think the same way. They think the
And what
same
is that, a
way.
lifetime contract or something?
I
What
don't
these
know
fools
if
say?
it's a listen. I don't know if it's a lifetime contract, but I know what Al Heyman old contracts used to look like. But the thing is, Al is not going to let Tank move across the street if it don't make sense. And a lot of times, when you got big stars like that, you don't send them across the street. So the same question is going to still remain. So, Burt Wood vlog, any news on Haney versus Cambosis odds? Tank calling out Haney, but there is a rematch with Cam.
Can I go?
Yeah, I'm waiting
Can I
on you,
go?
brother. Yeah, go ahead. I ain't saying
Bro,
nothing.
man, my dude, go to
Hmm?
Instagram. I know you're old, dude, but go to Instagram, bro. I'm putting up all the betting numbers. I'm getting in my lane. This is my lane. So yes, I got the Cambosis and I got the Haney odds up, along with the Danny Rahman, my boy Cool Boy Steph numbers. So the numbers is up, man, and you just gotta, put your bag where your
Um,
bag belong. Anyway, as far as sidebar to this, man, your boy Cambosis on some pillow talking in these streets type shit, man. This dude is not built for this social media shit, man. Because even as on social media, you're still supposed to be a man. So the things you post up, all of that kind of stuff, it still got to have a certain grade of manhood to it. So him and this dude Haney going back and forth on the gram like this shit is Twitter is hilarious, bro. But you know what I'm saying? I had to lay into the champ, my bad. I had to lay into him a little bit and let him know, man, you gotta stop stepping like that out here in these streets, bro, because it's real dudes that's seeing you moving like a female. You feel me? And that's not a good look. And you a unified champion. So
Hey Bert, I'm gonna bring the odds to you. Haney is a minus 175. Cambosis is a plus 160. To be honest with you, I think.
can I
Go ahead.
can I adjust those numbers?
Can
It
you
should be
adjust them?
more like, yeah, I need to adjust them. If I'm odds making that fight based on skill to skill, it's more like minus 350 Haney, plus 275 Cambosis. What has Cambosis done? Who has he stopped?
I
When
think
has
that
he beat the bigger man?
I think that
Bigger,
minus
faster man.
175 is a great number for Haney. Like if you got a nice bag and you trying to really,
That
you're trying to
it's
do
a
something.
bettable bag. It's for a favorite, yeah, you're gonna get a
That's a
lot on the
bettable
favorite.
bag. That's a
That's
nice.
that's
That's a nice.
reasonable.
That's a
But
nice
if you
number.
make it, but if you putting it at a true odds, like look at how you got Charlo Siliki. That's
Right.
1,200 to plus four something. That's a little high, but honestly, that's skill to skill. Yes, that's the way it should look. So you got to go skill to skill when you're laying odds. You
Yeah.
can't say this dude's skills is still in the same $200 range as the other man's skills.
For Haney to only be minus 175, I think that's a great number if you love Haney and you got a couple dollars. That's a great
Yeah,
number.
for a fan, I'm talking about to
No,
a guy that's
even for a better, that's a great number. If you, I'm not talking that you got to separate your style of betting versus somebody else's style of betting. We know you the parlay king,
but I'm talking about it from an odds making perspective. The
right?
numbers represent a certain skill that you're bringing to the field, to the
Correct,
court, to
correct,
the ring.
correct.
So you're saying he's bringing $175 skill set?
No, what I'm
That's
saying,
a
well,
bit
no, what I'm
disrespectful.
hold on, listen to me, bro. What I'm saying is they got the number wrong. So as a better, you taking advantage of it. It should be like 400, but
Oh,
they
yeah,
got it
I
at
agree with that.
175. So
No,
you
I
bet
said
that,
350. I was being
yeah,
reasonable at 350. It could
yeah.
be 425.
That should be a
Easy.
minus. That should be a minus. If you talking just skill, is a minus 400 easy for him to just be minus 175.
Yeah,
That's a
you got to
deal.
jump on
That's
it.
a steal.
Yeah,
You got to jump on
yeah,
that. You got to jump on
yeah,
that. Um,
yeah.
Tony's reviews. Triple G is too old in my opinion. It may.
Triple G look good, Tony. Triple G
I
look
think he
good
did.
against Murata.
He did his thing
Showed some
against Murata.
defense, showed ability to still take a punch. And that's from a big man, too, because Murata more like a
He can crack.
168 dude.
Right.
Body frame wise, at
And the
least.
thing is, he outclassed Murata too. Like I don't think people understood like the obstacles that he had. He in Murata's backyard. Murata's a lot younger. He had to deal with that youthfulness, that energy early, and then he turned
Does
it
the
on.
word
He turned it on in the back half.
does the word tricky come to mind? And
With
when you
what?
look at the word tricky, when we talk about OG fighters, tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the guy Coda from this past weekend and how he
Mm-hmm.
got through Gomez. And Gomez KOR, this young Cuban, knocking out lights, doing what he do in the ring. But you get in there with a tricky OG, you know what I mean? Things can go bad for you. And, Gomez didn't get his KO, but he got the rounds in that he needed as a young fighter. So check my IG on him and you get the latest information on that young cat. And he's a tweener, 154, 160 guy trying to make waves. WBA got him ranked pretty high. Anyway, that's a sidebar. But
Yeah.
back to this, though. When I think Triple G, think Saul, I give Triple G being a trickier fighter. You know what I mean? Like I can do little subtle things to make something happen. Try to swing the fight a little bit. I think he's a trickier guy, which again leads to this fight probably going the distance. Good way to look at that way to bet that if you wanted to lay a little something on it. Look for a
Yeah.
prop bet like that. Distance.
Yeah. You definitely got to factor in your prop bets as well. Burt Wood said Triple G beat up Lemieux, so Benavidez beating Lemieux, no big deal to me. I don't think anybody thought that was a big deal. Like it was a stay busy fight. Like it was what it was. Like it was a stay busy fight.
It's a
John,
cupcake.
yeah, it was a stay busy joint. John Hugh in the building. Big shout out to John Hugh. He said Canelo looks like he is slipping in me. He been slipping for a minute.
Said that, bro.
He been
Rock
slipping
with us,
for a
bro. Been
while.
saying that for a minute over here,
We've been
Pimpin'.
saying it for a
Been
while, bro.
saying
For
that.
a while, yeah.
And that's no shade. That's
That's
just
no shade or nothing. It's
eyesight
just
test. Shout out to Young Shay. Eyesight test. Tell
we,
you what you see, you gotta go with it.
yeah. Whatever your boxing eye see, that's what you roll with. Um, John Hugh, I am not surprised Bivol beat Canelo. I don't think Canelo's team's judgment is too good. I don't think they are as smart as they think they are. So, John Hugh, I don't think you was in here when we kind of let the cat out the bag with that. Basically, what they did is they thought Bivol was a cupcake, and he wasn't a cupcake. But it was surprising that they were moving like that because they were moving smart before that because they went on the whole European tour. They unified at 168 on the European tour. Best case scenario for them. So you would figure they were smart enough not to make a move like that against Bivol. They just got bad advice. They got bad advice. They didn't do their homework, and that's what happened. Like we got on camera and was just like, we don't know a strategy to give Canelo to beat Bivol. That's how bad of a matchup it was. And we were on camera with that. We had the film and everything. We like, I don't know what Canelo can do against this dude. That's literally how we looked at it. And that's no knock against Canelo. Like we was just realistic. You know what I'm saying? YSM only pro uh to not being Floyd is that one less person to pay. That is true. Al ain't letting Tank go to the other side. There really isn't anyone that warrants a move like that business wise. But that's what I'm saying. YSM, like it's the same scenario. If he was with
That's
Floyd,
not
it's the
true.
same question.
That's
What?
not true, YSM. Because if Haney gets the undisputed lightweight championship, that
He's
is
worthy. He's worthy.
the first move you think about making. You make
And
that phone call right after that second fight because we know they sandbagging Cambosis, try to get as much money as they can out that bum. Because if anybody look at that undercard, that is the worst promoting I've seen around an undisputed title fight in a long time. That is like some Tuesday night fight type shit before it was Tuesday night fights. You know what I mean? When you get the real amateur 1, 2, first, second fight guys out the way, it's full of that card. That is like what is this? They kept all that money. They didn't want to pay nobody. They probably didn't even want to pay Cambosis. So he was like, well, put in their rematch so I can at least get, like one check, like two checks will look like one check should. So like Cambosis on some real, he terrible, bro. They moving him extra terrible because they don't believe in his skills. You know what I mean? And to be tricky of a decision, you could look at some kind of draw or something like that, whereas though, kind of, hype up the second fight a little bit more. Because if Haney dog walking literally like maybe on some Linares type of situation, would anybody really want to see the rematch? So would they make any money? So look for controversy. Look for Cambosis to have the first 4 rounds in the bank. A la Canelo.
facts, facts, facts,
I'm
facts.
just saying, man. Gotta be
Big
careful.
shot. Big shout out to Sparko. Sparko in the building. Big shout out to you, family. He said Murata is 36. Yeah, a lot younger than Triple G. Like, you know what I mean?
And not
He's
war torn.
Murata's a fresher fighter though. That's
Yeah,
a
very fresh. Yeah,
very
he ain't long in the tooth.
yeah, he's not really long in the tooth like at all. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Burt Wood. G5, forgive me. What was that? Floyd Mayweather versus Don Moore. Um, I yeah, I listen. I to each his own. If somebody was interested in that, then cool. You know what I'm saying? If somebody was interested in that and they wanted to watch it, that's their prerogative. You know what I'm saying? Me
Man, that
personally,
reminded me of Mr. T and Hulk Hogan.
that's funny.
when he was out there with the card and all of that and smiling, and I was like, bro, this is some WWF type shit if I've ever seen it, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, but you know, he got to pay what is it, Logan Paul or Jake Paul or Anderson Paul, or he got to pay one of them Paul some kind of money. So he had to do what he had to do.
hey man, it's crazy, bro. Like it's really crazy. But I'm like, if people are willing to pay him for those type of fights, and he's willing to do it, he's physically able to do it, then more power to him. It's just we're not gonna waste our time talking
Yeah,
about that bullshit. Like we're not gonna waste our time.
yeah.
He just that's just Floyd going to pick up a bag. Like it's just ain't nothing wrong with it. But it's up to you
When,
whether you
when,
give it any attention or not.
hey, when have you ever seen Floyd press somebody? Like,
Yo,
I ain't seen Floyd on the front foot since his youth. Like
bro,
he was out there pressing
yo,
dude like he owed him money for real.
bro, I ain't seen Floyd. Floyd was looking like Hagler out there. Floyd was looking like Hagler out there, man. I said, what is this?
That shit,
It was cool though. It was funny. It was funny.
you said it looked like Hagler versus Martin.
Yeah, man. It looked like Hearns versus Martin and shit.
Oh
Like when
yeah,
they
Ernest versus
got
Martin. Yeah. That shit was hilarious.
yeah, that shit was crazy, man. John Hugh Bivol is an Eddie Hearn fighter. I think he was instrumental in setting Canelo up for a fall. I don't think Canelo was too pleased with Eddie. So, John Hugh, let me give you the facts real quick, bro. Basically, Eddie Hearn watched the Bivol and Craig Richards fight, and he basically went to Canelo and them was just like, "Yo, like, watch this Craig Richards fight. Bivol's food. We can take this one." And it bit him. It bit him. Like, but see, the thing is, this is the equivalent of it. If me and Vlog got if me and Vlog throwing a party, right? We throwing a party, and we get robbed at the party. But the dude that robbed us, we let him in, even though he got a reputation for being a thief. Whose fault is that? That's our fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's our fault. So I'm like, it's the same scenario. Like, they were dumb enough to listen to Eddie Hearn. He's made probably 4 or 5 of the dumbest moves in promoter history. You
Can
understand what
I
I'm
ask
saying?
you
So
a
I'm like,
question?
why would you even listen to him? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, now y'all brought up Eddie. Y'all think he gonna get in the way of this Janabek DeAndre fight?
Yes. You know what? I take that back. I don't know because I don't know. I think I don't know if Andre is with Eddie Hearn anymore. I don't know what his situation is right now. To be
Well,
honest with you, I don't know what his
he had to
situation is.
fight with he had the fight lined up with Zach Parker. That's a Eddie Hearn fighter.
Yeah, but I think that might have been his last joint. I think he was on a fight by fight joint with him. No, I don't think he had anything long term. No, we gotta do some more homework on that. We gotta
I
do some
mean,
more homework
it's
on
just
that.
a question because that's a WBO mandatory situation or order, not a mandatory, but they ordered that fight based
Yeah,
on trying to clear up the interim situation and whether he going 168 or not because he could just turn it down, say I'm going 168. That
and
automatically makes Janabek the world champion. So
that was
I
his
mean,
belt at 160. So I mean, we get it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Would Eddie get in the way? Does he owe Eddie a fight or what?
It's a good question.
What's the situation? I
Good
mean,
question.
I added him in my post, so I don't know if he's gonna get at me and answer that. But I was like, well, don't get in the way, Eddie.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, bro. I just he could not be happy with Eddie, but at the same time, they dumb for listening to him. He's not a matchmaker. Like, you know what I'm saying? I might cut on the goddamn tape and do your own damn homework. Like,
I mean, but
we told you it was a
Reynoso,
bad move.
Reynoso isn't has proven he's not that sort of trainer in step up fights.
He's a figurehead.
Yeah, he's a guy that can get you through. Obviously, if you need a little boost or something like that, he's a
Are
guy.
you saying there's a Reynoso pack? Is that what you saying,
Man,
bro?
I mean, well, it's been known to have played a part in their camp from time to time. So you know what I mean. How often they've been caught using it, we gotta check the records. Really, some things could be put in the deep end of the library where people don't go read that often. So I don't know, bro. But I mean, what I'm saying. So what I'm saying basically is Reynoso isn't he's not a strategist. He's not an in fight sort of guy. He's not a guy that can even build a game plan because they didn't have a game plan. Your game plan was to get blasted in the first round. Like that's the round you want to feel his power in. Like nah, man, you supposed to get warmed up first, baby. You don't supposed to let that man open up on you like that in the first round. Yeah. No bob and weave from this guy. Strong, yeah, still a strong guy. You ain't gonna just get him out of there, but that's not to say you can't outbox him, and that's what happened. He got outboxed by the bigger guy. The bigger guy was countering his shots with the timing. Like I said yesterday, he got touched on these arms and he was letting shots go.
Hey, Vlog, I gotta give you something real quick, bro. On the gram, there's somebody that put $1,000 on Rolly. $1,000 gonna get him 7,250 back. There was another bet for 1,000, same thing. Then there's another bet 5,000 on Rolly. The 5,000 gets you 35 back. 35 G's. So I figured you would find that very interesting. So
to me, those sound like professional bettors, or those sound like people that got a little extra something back on the taxes and looking to make a move with it. You know what I mean? Because if you know boxing, bro, you don't bet that high. You put 5 on it, put 2-3 units on it, something like that. I don't put 5 racks on nothing like that, bro. This guy has proven that he can be outboxed.
Yeah.
When you do things like that, you're telling me you're not giving Tank any credit for being a boxer. That means Tank not smart enough to go in there and not get hit by a guy that you can look at 2-3 fights and see he got power. But does he have power against a guy that can hit him and get out the way?
Yeah, I just that's one of them joints. If Rolly win the fight, more power to him. More power to him, man. Let me hold a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? Adrian said, "Isn't Zach Parker a Frank Warren fighter though?" Yeah, he is a Frank Warren fighter. So that's why I was saying it's kind of up in the air.
I thought he was Matchroom. Could have sworn
he's Frank Warren because I remember that because of the purse bid. Remember the purse bid. Remember the purse bid? We was talking about that.
Okay, then Eddie wouldn't have had no part. Then he must be free of Eddie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mando through the WBO, another WBO situation.
Right, and Andrade obviously was connected with the WBO because he had the WBO 160 title. So you know what I'm saying. John Hughes, Joshua Buatsi does not look world class to me. The Joshua Buatsi versus Craig Richards fight really showed him up. John Hughes, he said Buatsi.
So I saw a 9-3 fight. I saw a 10-2.
Bro, I had it. I think I gave Craig Richards 3 legit rounds and 1 sympathy round. So I think I had it 8-4. But I thought, listen, man. So John Hughes, let me explain this real quick, bro. Like when you step up at competition, you're gonna get pushback. Like Craig Richards gave Bivol pushback. And Bivol's one of the best fighters out here. So the fact that Buatsi was able to handle a Craig Richards should actually elevate him in terms of your thought process towards a Buatsi. Because if Buatsi wasn't a top-notch dude, he doesn't beat Craig Richards 10-2 in Vlog's book or 8-4 in my book.
And which you might be overlooking also with Buatsi is that chin, bro. See, we discredit for having a chin, bro. This 2 fights in a row, he went in there with guys that got a nice little 1-2. Couldn't say mostly Bolotniks, but Bolotniks got bangers. He got hands. Craig Richards, his 1-2 was very deadly. He was taking them shots in both fights, coming through, battling through, showing wits. Come on, bro. Like that's credit. That's what you earn when you go through these fights. You can use that to your advantage. Now, maybe what they're gonna work on in camp is tightening up the defense just a little more. You see what I mean? Because he got better defensively. He didn't consistently take the 1-2. So it wasn't really there for Craig Richards, where that's all he needed throughout the fight. And he could have kept his range, just keep shooting the 1-2, letting Buatsi fall into it. Craig Richards was running into Buatsi and smothering his own shots. So his inside game, he got killed. I don't see where you thought Craig Richards really had a offensive standout output where it was a 50-50 fight or 7-5 fight or anything like that. It wasn't that close, bro.
Yeah, I listen. I think Buatsi is a really good fighter, man. Like, you don't run through a Craig Richards like that if you're not solid.
He's top 5 light heavyweight on the planet.
He's Buatsi's a good fighter, bro. He's a good fighter. And
outside the champions, where do you rank him?
He right there. He right there. He's 1 or 2 on the list outside the champions. Yeah, he's right there. You know what I mean? Jamie Leroy, Eddie Hearn has no boxing knowledge on other fighters, matchroom fighters, or on the big losses with Eddie's matchmaking decisions. Jamie Leroy, we've been saying this for months. Eddie Hearn need to hire us as consultants. Like, he's really not a boxing guy. He's a boxing guy in terms of a fan, and he loves the sport. But actual business moves and matchmaking, he need us. Because everything we told him to do over the past maybe 2 years, he didn't listen, and now he in trouble. Like, AJ should still have 2 belts. He should have never gotten the ring with Usyk. We was like, yo, bro, just have him drop one of the belts. Just have him drop one of the belts. That was a $50 to $100 million mistake. The Canelo thing is a $50 million mistake. Like, he's tied into some of the biggest mistakes a promoter can make in the history of boxing. And I like Eddie Hearn.
And he about to run into a wall with Conor Benn.
Exactly.
If you're not pushing this dude towards a world title fight, bro, all that domestic stuff gonna play itself out, bro. You got him on the international scene.
So to be honest with you, advance that. Conor Benn is really the only person he's really putting thought into when it comes to moving him, in terms of just keeping him out of harm's way, keeping him in active fights. Like, if he'd have took that approach with all the rest of his guys, he wouldn't be in trouble the way he in. You know what I'm saying?
But that's my point. He, at some point, he got to put that man in danger to really solidify his position in the division or going forward.
Right. He said, John Hughes said, do you think Joshua Buatsi beats Yard? I think so.
I do. We talked about that yesterday, John.
Yeah, John, we talked about that yesterday. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, bro. I think he beats.
I think he does too. I think that jab is a problem. Big shout out to Virgil Hill. He got that jab. I say about a 7.5, an 8 right now. You can get that up to a 9. That's problems for Yard, and everybody know that's an issue for Yard.
Right.
Thank London for that. Thank that boy Arthur London for that.
Yeah. Oh, Lyndon Arthur. Yeah.
London Arthur.
No, that's a fact.
Frank Arthur, whatever his name is.
Yeah, but no, that's a fact though. I think Buatsi beats Yard. But we said it's close to a 50-50 fight. Like, for sure. Like, that's one of the top fights you can make at 175. It's one of the top fights you can make at 175. Yeah.
Or for that next, they big on domestic fights over there. So that's shit. That's nasty.
I mean, if they want to put him up against somebody with a name, but he should be able to get off on, like, put him up against Kovalev. Give Buatsi a Kovalev fight. His last fight was at Cruiser. His last fight was at Cruiserweight.
I think it was Kovalev, little brother.
Yeah. Damn. Okay.
Little brother.
Yeah. He needs that type.
It was a Pulev. It was a namesake. I can't.
Yeah, I remember that was on. I think that was on Fight TV too. I think that was on Fight TV as well.
He won.
Yeah.
You know who he looked like? Him and what's his name struggled a little bit. Him and Victor Ortiz, two older guys, couple guys got a name
Yeah,
on them, coming back, fighting, new
yeah,
division. They both
right.
struggled a little bit. They got the win, but they wasn't looking like their old self out there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's a
Because your
fact,
boy
man.
Ortiz got dropped in the 10th round. He
Yeah,
almost damn
that's a
lost that fight and fucked off one of my cards.
right, right. And that's the thing, man. Like it's just, it's a lot going on in these boxing streets right now. But we definitely had to get the Canelo thing out of the way because it's kind of a hot topic. But we got a lot going on this weekend. We got Tank Rolly this weekend. We got the fight that I feel like just has absolutely no juice, no meaning, no nothing is the co-main for that card, man.
Laura
I
is
Laura and Gary Spike O'Sullivan. I'm like, yo,
that's
who
Emil
came?
Sullivan.
I
That's my
said, yo, I'm like, whose idea was that? Like, I
yo.
don't,
But
yo,
look how you break that card down, though, bro. Look at the card, though. You got a grudge match. You got a couple guys long in the tooth, and then you got a revenge match. It's not bad.
bro,
It's
bro,
better than all of them 1 versus 2 guys on that goddamn Australian card. It's gonna take
bro,
all night. Them niggas got like 12 4-round fights. He
bro,
can't put the
Gary,
Maloney brothers on that shit.
bro. I'm like, yo,
Yo,
like,
that shit's alright, bro. Couple
bro,
OGs getting in there, man.
I just, I'm just like, yo, for Laura, I'm like, bro, and I like Gary, I like Spike, but
Gary
I'm
coming off
like,
a win, though.
yeah,
Gary
I know he
coming off
coming
a
on
win.
one. I know. It's just when I heard about the fight, I was like, really? Like, like it's kind of like what? Like this is crazy, man. Like
I
it's
mean, do
just
you really want to put Laura deep in right now? Like,
I'd rather. I mean, what else he got going on? He ain't got nothing else going on.
bro, I mean, you kind of if you doing that, if you Showtime, you doing that. You wanna give him a little guy you kind of can step up off of into that activity. You don't want him. You see, you want him to dive in off the ground. At least Showtime want to give him to the diving board, then jump in. So you want him to just walk right up to the water and dive in.
Bro,
Gotta
listen. He's at 60, right? He's at 60, right?
Hey, how many fights he done had at 60? I thought he was a 54 dude for a minute.
He was a 54 dude for a minute. He moved up to 60 though. He's 60. This
Yeah,
is
that's what I'm
60
saying.
fight.
So
But I'm like,
if
what?
this,
Who do they have at 60 that he can even fight?
that's what I mean. If you don't want
Yeah,
to put him
I guess
in deep,
Gary. I guess Spike. I guess Spike is a legit opponent. I guess when you look at it like that,
I
it's
mean, he a
crazy.
guy you ain't got to pay a lot. I know that.
Who Gary Spike?
Yeah, you ain't paying. I don't think they paying Gary a lot because he really a design guy. He a guy that's been working on that card the last few years.
He probably
He
getting
actually a headliner on that card back when
You
they
think
first started design.
you think he getting 100K for that fight?
Something like that sound reasonable.
Man, I
25.
think, bro. Yeah, I think they gave him $100 and 2 6 packs, 2 6 packs of Budweisers, man. Sent him on his way and shit. Yeah, man.
Man, I
On
mean,
Jamie Leroy. Oh, let me get this out of here real quick, bro. Jamie Leroy, does Chris Eubank trouble Canelo? I think anybody troubles Canelo right about now, the way he been looking.
dang.
I ain't even going fraud, man. But it's not just one Jamie Leroy. It's not just one fight, bro. Canelo hasn't looked good since the Danny Jacobs fight. That's what we've been trying to tell
Been
y'all.
saying that.
We've
That
been
was
trying to
his
tell y'all
last
that.
defensive fight.
Like really
He
good
wasn't
fight.
that great offensively because Danny Jacobs is a defensively sound guy in his own right. You know what I mean? So if you remember a lot of the clips that's still around for that fight, it's a lot of defensive things that he did well that they really highlight from that fight.
And
You
to
know
be
what I mean?
honest with
So
you, bro, like Danny Jacobs landed the hardest shot Canelo has felt probably in the last couple years when he caught him with that hook. in like the ninth, 10th round. Like that was a hard ass shot. You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's just yeah. I think anybody is giving Canelo trouble right now. He's gonna have to show me that he's not on the decline. It looks like he's on the decline. Like this, it is what it is. Burt Wood said any odds numbers on Inui and Donaire. Vlog, I think you had
That's
that
up
posted
on
too, correct?
the Instagram, my dude. Up on the
I
gram.
gotta get, bro. I gotta get my old. I gotta get my OG right. I'm gonna get him right. Hold on. We're gonna go to Boxing First Vlogs page right now. We're gonna get these odds, man. Get a newie. We're gonna get Birdwood right. Hold on, let me see. Did you post that a while ago or no? I
Oh
got it.
man,
I
that's
got
right.
it. It's on the same joint as Haney and Cambosis. So Inui is
Thank
minus 500. Donaire is plus 390. So basically,
What I
Donaire is
can say
paying as like a
first of
4 to
all,
1 dog. Mm-hmm.
what I can say first of all, that fight is going down in Japan. We just had a fight go down in Japan, and we seen the proper result based on what happened in the ring. So I'm gonna lean that we won't have no questionable judging. So that's one thing we can get out the way. Jeff.
No, I think it'll be a fair shake. I expect for Inui to win the fight again. He's just a better fighter. Donaire has been on an amazing run last like 3 fights or so. But
Now you can say this. Donaire has been on an amazing run. The guys he's beat slower.
yeah,
So
Inui's a different animal. Different animal. Like the things that you're used to seeing Donaire doing in the last 2 3 fights, he's not gonna be able to do the same thing against Inui. Like it's just he's not gonna be able to do it. So we're gonna see what he does and what adjustments he makes off of their first fight. You know what I'm saying? So um we're gonna see
and
what
then if
happens.
I
But I don't have a problem with the odds though. I got a problem with the odds though.
if you look at it, he's been training too. And if I'm correct, I do believe a couple of his guys have taken some losses. Uh, what's the last guy, the senator dude? He lost against Beefy. That's one of his guys. And then another smaller fighter took a loss at like 118 on the Dazan card that he supports. So he done had some guys that I guess he linked to in this boxing round, take some losses. Can affect you too when you trying to do your 1-2. So you gotta, gotta really analyze the sport carefully when you want to take your leans and you start wanting to favor one guy over another. Boxing is a mental sport along with the physical.
What you think of the odds, bro?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I mean, this the next to me pay-per-view star. It's the
The
next guy.
Nui? The Nui?
Yeah, he's the next guy. It's gonna start costing to see him.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hold on a second. What we got? Is that all the comments we got? I think I got through all of them. I'm actually proud of myself today.
That's what's
Uh,
up.
I don't know where Shane. Shane was supposed to definitely be on here. I don't know what happened to him, but um, I guess we can get into it real quick. Just Tank and Rolly. We haven't. I mean, we ain't gonna be on here too much longer, but Tank Rolly. Are you looking at it for any other reason outside of just pure entertainment?
I'm looking at it. Hold on. I'm looking at it from a boxing match, bro. This is one of the stronger guys Tank has fought. One of the stronger
Mm-hmm.
guys. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Solidly built physically. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say intimidating, but can make an impression physically. You see him across the ring. You know what I mean? So these things you got to overcome, and you got to rely on your skills and your boxing IQ, your instinct, and your own power. So I think you got to really break the fight down. You can't just be like, yo, I like this dude better than that dude. You know what I mean? You got to really look at who's going to be the smarter guy in there. If it's so much trash talking, you go in there and get emotional, and it's the shot you don't see that kill you. Well,
Right.
not that way. I don't mean it like that. That hurt
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure. I mean, I look at it. I'm just it's some interesting, interesting things with this fight, and it's really how Tank approaches the fight because Rolly's been talking so much trash, and I think Rolly's gonna go in there and just be Rolly. I think he just gonna go in there and be himself and just let it all hang out, and we're gonna see how Tank, adjusts to it. But I'm kind of curious to see how he adjusts to it because I don't think he can do the exact same thing he did against Pitbull. I think he's going to have to mix it up a little bit, where he was more so playing it on the back foot because that was the smarter thing to do against Pitbull. I think with this fight, he got to approach it a little bit different, but just the main thing, defensively responsible, make sure that jab working. Somebody as dynamic as Tank, sometimes they can forget about the jab. He can't forget about the jab in this fight, man, because it's going to make the fight so much easier for him if he's pumping that jab. That jab
If
to the stomach going to be important.
if you look at this fight, Tank actually is able to punch directly shoulder and get to his target. He don't gotta punch up as much. He don't gotta punch like down like in a cruise fight to kind of reach this guy. This a fight where as long as his jab sets the range, like you said, use angles. Because we talking about a guy that's already naturally awkward. So if you make that awkwardness go off the improper angle, it's gonna get him even more in trouble. Crossing his
Mm-hmm.
feet, stumbling, running in the
Mm-hmm.
shots. So
Mm-hmm.
you use them angles, you use your quickness. Rolly quick too, but he ain't foot quick. No way in the
Right.
world he quicker foot wise than Tank Davis is. So these are the
Yeah.
small things you got to know about a boxing match like this. When you trying to break it down and say, "Yo, I'm going here." That's who I got. I don't know if these guys that you saying put these bag out there like that. They might have just been looking at the numbers, and numbers say throw something that way, roll of the dice,
Yeah. Yeah. They. I got it actually
like
off of
that. You know,
Yeah, I actually got it off of somebody posted it on Rolly's, like they added Rolly in it. So I mean, and the only other person that would really bet on Rolly is a hardcore Rolly fan that got bread. You
yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
what's up.
Like
I ain't
it's
no support your guy. I'm not saying that he can't win either. That's why I said, yesterday, if you go back, I said your boy got to be careful, man. That's why I said the ring IQ of Tank, which I do believe we saw against Cruz, we're gonna see in this fight. Like all the hype, that's one thing. I think Tank is at that level. He knows what's ahead of him future wise. Like this guy Rolly could take this loss at 135, easily move to 140, and this shit be forgotten about.
hmm
You see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I think Rolly gonna be fine regardless of whether he win,
That's what I
even if
mean.
he
That's
lose. Yeah, I agree, 100%.
yeah. Tank don't have that option. A loss
Right,
for Tank
that's the
kind
problem.
of, well, does he go back to Mayweather? That's gonna be the new talk. You know what I mean? Can does he have to go back to Mayweather, be rebuilt, and all of this sort of thing? Blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
100%
I think
facts.
he has to be smart, and I think we'll see that from this dude. So
Yeah, and we
I
seen
wouldn't
it
go for early
recent
KO.
evidence. Yeah, recent evidence. I mean, in the Pitbull fight, he could have made that fight a lot more difficult, but he played it smart. He played it smart. You know what I'm saying? Kept his distance. He made Pitbull reset the entire night. Had Pitbull
Miss
running in the shots. You know what I'm
Missing
saying?
a lot of big shots, so showing defense, showing anticipation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Facts. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think Tank has shown that he's a smart fighter, and he don't have to fight that style where he's just trying to knock everybody out in the first two rounds. He showed that he can give it to you any way you like it. So
That's
I'm
why I
looking
said
forward to the fight.
if you just heard me slip it in, I wouldn't go with an early KO in this one. I
No,
wouldn't
I
say
wouldn't either.
look for anything inside 3, maybe 4. If you want to go early on the early side, probably go 5, 6. If you want to prop bet something, throw a half unit, throw a unit on something on the prop side of the game. I
Yeah.
wouldn't go too early because Tank is smart. He won't engage, get himself in a lot of danger exchanges, get hit with that lucky shot that, a lot of fighters have in their careers. You know what I mean? Even Tank may have had
Right.
a lucky shot that he didn't even expect to land that got a KO for him. So You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
don't want him. He doesn't want at this point in his career for that to happen to him. So expect some sense of intelligence. I believe so. The early clash and somebody going to sleep too early. I don't think we're gonna get that unless Rolly plays the crash test dummy, which
Right.
I don't know. I don't think he got the balls to really go in there and do that toe to toe thing. I think he wants to counterpunch in this fight. I actually think he wants to try to get lucky by counterpunching. He's not a guy that sets up his offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
a guy that reacts to what you're doing. So if Tank is smart enough to just shoot the jab, and make him get anxious and try to unleash because of the crowd, because of whatever is getting late in the round or something like that, and
Yeah.
pop him on a counter punch reaction to that. So
Yeah.
it's a tricky fight, man.
I
Tricky
think
fight.
I think Tank need to flash that superior speed as well. He need to flash that speed as well, man. Get a guy like Rolly, a guy that's awkward. The main thing you want to get him doing is thinking before he acts. Think before he act. What makes a guy awkward is not only his style, but the fact that he can do anything at any time. If you get that guy thinking, you already won most of the battle. You know what I mean? So that's going to be important for Tank. But listen, we're gonna close this thing out. We're gonna
Yeah,
close this thing out, man. Hour 16 minutes strong. VP Shane left us hanging, but that's okay though. We gonna put his Instagram up here anyway. If you want to follow VP Shane on Instagram, it is at I underscore am Shane the number one, again at I underscore am Shane the number one, exclusively on Instagram. My partner in crime, Boxing First Vlog. Give him your YouTube, social media, and all that, good brother.
y'all see the link, man. We're gonna get that switched up here and try to improve,
Short order.
shorten
Hmm.
it up a little bit or something. Just been real busy, things like that. But everything's still moving. We hitting y'all with the podcast daily. Kind of shorten it up on a lot of the videos because we getting it out right here, and you get it live, you get it. You know what I'm saying? Verbatim, so to speak, without all the editing and things like that.
Right.
And I think it's just little bit better product. But if it's really real breaking news, you might be able to tune into the channel and catch up. But
Absolutely.
we'll get back to videos though. We'll get back to some, undercard preview type videos and whatnot because we do a lot of breaking down the main fights here. Definitely getting inside the X's and O's a little bit more than I would say other channels do. They
Yeah.
do a lot of the TMC side of the stuff, and we don't try to tap into that as much. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, we
do
really don't.
comment on Instagram because I laid into your unified lightweight champ today. So tap into the IG page, boxing number one STVLOG. We busy over there. We back on Twitter, hitting them with the little shots here and there as best we can. And obviously I'm on YouTube, man. So look out for us, man. We here, we working.
Absolutely. Um, I'm all over the place, man. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, G5Jeff TV. Um, we're gonna all be showing our writing abilities pretty soon once we get the
Yeah.
website revamped. And we're gonna add that element to the game as well. And we just the thing that's crazy, the way our setup is, and I had in vlog, I don't even think I told you this. I had my homie tell me this, and he was just like, yo, like he was like, if you actually break down the amount of time that you spend doing your podcast, he was like, yo, you vlog and Shane put in more actual time than almost anybody else on YouTube. He was like, the difference is a lot of these dudes is breaking the brick down the nicks and dimes. He was like, y'all giving out half and whole bricks. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, he explained it to me that way, and I was just like, you know what? I ain't even think of it that way. He's like, y'all watch time is probably twice as much as the next, biggest person like on YouTube. Because when we do podcasts, we on here anywhere between an hour to 2.5 hours each time, like a couple times a week. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, it's just a lot more than people that's doing like 3, 4, 5 minute videos. You know what I'm saying? So we might get back into doing that. You know what I'm saying? But we just don't expect us to report like on the TMZ type stuff. We'll comment on it on social media, but we really don't waste our time really reporting it because there's too many people that's actually reporting it already. So we just become another part of that big pool of people that's on the TMZ type vibe. And that's no disrespect to the people that's on the TMZ type vibe. If that's your vibe, cool. That's your vibe. We just prefer to talk X's and O's in fight, sports betting, and you know what I'm saying? A lot of these underdog fighters and giving guys shine and things like that. Like we just approaching it from a different angle, man. So we're gonna continue to do what we're doing. I expect to be on here tomorrow, and we can dig a little bit more into the tank fight,
Haney,
the tank card.
Haney,
Haney, we can dig into that as well.
we
Hopefully,
got
we
to
can get
talk.
Padman on tomorrow. Hopefully, we get Padman on tomorrow. Padman McGriff is out there with Devin Haney right now. It'll be great if we can get him on tomorrow, get an update on how things is going out there. Because a lot of people don't know what's going on out there. So I think that'll be like a super exclusive. We get Padman on tomorrow. But we're gonna touch on those things tomorrow, and it's always something to talk about in boxing, man. There's always something to talk about in boxing, man. So, on behalf of VP Shane, aka Ice Cold Shane, my man Boxing First Vlog, aka the General, aka Blunt, aka Blunt Bayless, aka Mr. 1K, and your boy G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru, on behalf of the staff, we'll be back tomorrow with episode 96 of the Goodfellas podcast. We out.